Hi, this is Mike Spokane, the leader and the founder of Young Men Empowerment Forum. I want to embark on a topic with you and a journey of 5 parts. And I want to start with part one today of a topic that speaks about deal with the things that you can control and leave those that you cannot control alone. Now I want to speak about deal with things that you can control and leave those that you cannot control alone. Now, I want to speak about this just as part one today, and I want to deal with the first aspect of things that you cannot control and those that you can control. Because when you are embarking on things that you cannot control and worry about them, you basically hurt yourself because remember that you cannot change those things, even though you can worry much about. One of those things that I want to speak about today, which is very important, is that you can control your thoughts. You can control your thoughts, but you cannot control what other people think about you. So in other words, you cannot control about the thoughts, you cannot control thoughts of other people, but you can control your own thoughts. How do you deal with that? Because our own thoughts are actually controlled by us. And there's a statement that I always say that you can actually, you cannot avoid birds flying over your head, but you can actually surely avoid birds from making a nest on your head. So in other words, thoughts are like that because there will be thoughts that come through in and out of your mind. There are thoughts that will come differently, and some at night through dreams and even during the day. You think about different things, particularly because of you are a social being who is relating with people, and you are in different environments as well, whereby thoughts come and go. But when thoughts are coming and going in your mind, you can control whether to actually dwell and meditate on a certain thought, keep it in your mind, and do something about it. Or you may actually decide that this particular thought is not palatable for me, is not normal for me, and it is actually detrimental for my system. So therefore you are able to kick out a particular thought. And that's how you can be able to control thoughts. There are thoughts that will come, and some evil, and of course some very good thoughts that you're having. But it's going to be your choice basically on how you filter those thoughts, like a real computer system that decide on whether to archive, where you decide whether you want to archive a certain a document or you want to delete it. Because that's the same in your mind, because your mind is like a processing computer that is actually processing the thoughts that come through, and it is your decision whether the particular thought that comes through you is something that you can keep because you may find that important to keep for the next for the future use, or this is a detrimental thought that you don't want to even entertain, you don't want to even keep it in your mind. So as a young man, I want you to remember that it is up to you on how you control your thoughts. It's up to you, or whether you want to keep your thoughts or you want to delete them. You want to discard a thought or you want to keep it. So it's up to you. Now, also the process of processing those thoughts and deciding on what you do with those thoughts is going to be from you. It is you who decide what you want to do with the thought. And you'll realize that most of the evil things that we do is because we have premeditated them. Because it's a thought that came in your mind and you entertained it for quite a while until it bore results of evil out of you. And you'll see that the same, like good thoughts as well, if you premeditate them, you entertain them for quite long, they actually make roots in you and they bring something positive in your life. But I want to emphasize that we dwell much on what people think about us. But I want to tell you now that you've got no control on what people think about you, because what people think about you is their thoughts anyway. It's their decision on whether they want to keep the thoughts that are bad against you or not. Because sometimes you'll realize that people are thinking evil about you by their actions. But there's nothing wrong that you will do. I mean, there's nothing wrong that you doing. But people are the ones who are actually meditating on wrong thoughts against you. And you worried about it, and there's nothing that you can control in there. I want to emphasize as a young man That many times, remember, we are worrying so much about things that are not within us. They're out of our control. They're out of our bounds, actually. And while we need to dwell on things that we can control so that we can be able to manage them and make sure that we can actually shape them to the direction that we want them to be. Now, I want to emphasize the issue of thoughts is actually something very, very important. Because thoughts, if meditated upon, they can create ideas in your mind. And those ideas, if they are built into your life, they will actually start developing what we call habits. And when the thoughts are actually continue to be entertained as habits, they develop what we call a behavior. And that behavior that start developing causes what we call personality. And that is personality if it is actually thoughts that are entertained going forward. You'll end up developing what we call a character out of those thoughts. And those thoughts are very key that you snap them earlier, or you actually cut them off earlier if they're evil, but entertain them a bit more earlier as well if they are good thoughts, so that you can be able to actually use those thoughts for something great. Now, but it's going to be up to you as a young man to filter the thoughts, entertain them, look at the thoughts that are progressive in your life, and use those. Now, I want to also say that when people start thinking about you, it's your choice as well to say, if they think good about me, good enough, I'm happy. But if they think bad about you and the things that they're thinking about you, you cannot worry yourself about that. Because how they view you, how they perceive you, how they think about you is within their control, not within your control. You may worry about it and want to know much about it, but there's nothing much that you're going to do. Because I want to emphasize the fact that thoughts of people are controlled by them, not you. So don't worry about what people think about you. So therefore, be yourself, because many of us lose our self-image because we are worried about what people think about us. And therefore, we are dictated in our lives because we are forever worried and engaging ourselves of what will people think. And that's the reason why some of us cannot come out of our cocoon and become confident to address issues or to stand in front of people and speak, is because we are worried about what people think about us. Now, as a young man, I want you to conquer this and say, you want to be in control of your own thoughts and not worry about what people say or think about you, because it's very important that you more caring about the thoughts that are processed in your mind, that you can control. You can actually release them or maybe embrace them and continue maybe entertaining them. But those thoughts that are in the minds of the people, you can do nothing about it. So therefore, as a young man, I want to urge you, be more cognizant about thoughts in your mind. Control them. Make sure that you actually filter the thoughts and embrace those ones that are good and progressive. And those that are evil in your mind, reject them and cast them out, because those thoughts, they will destroy you one day. But the ones that are in the minds of other people, believe me, there's nothing that you can do, because you cannot control anything of that sort. I want to end up here today, your host, Maikona Spokane. Thank you very much for listening to us and being part of this great topic. And I hope you have learned a bit out of this. I will embark on part 2 tomorrow, so please join us as we deal with part 2. But I want you also just to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you click that notification button so that you are notified each time we post a video. And also make sure that you join our Facebook page of Young Men Empowerment Forum. And that's where we post most of these teachings. And that will help you as a young man. And you will learn out of that and will become a better man in the future. Allow me to say, your host, Maikona Spokane, thank you very much for listening. And cheers for now.